Hey everyone, how's it going? I've got a video for you today. It's going to be an unboxing and a build and paint log over the next few days of this new model that I've got. And I'm going to show you some of the tricks and tips that I've picked up while painting all this white for my Tau Empire collection so far. Let's do it. Alright, so here it is. So I ordered it about 12 days from the UK. And the standard shipping time is 13 days, so woo! Alright, so let's do this. Oops. There we go. Oh, it's a bit of air. Stuff, don't care about that. And here we go. Here it is. Forgeworld Tau XV9 with fusion cascades. So let's open this up. So these are and there it is. This will be my first resin kit from Forgeworld. And there are all the components. So the fusion cascades. This look good. There's the torso. Looks really good. And the knee pads. The fins, the feet, and of course the head. There's all the different components. Alright, so what we'll do, we'll get back to that. We'll clean it all up, cut it out, prepare it, and we'll start putting it together. Okay, there we go. So there he is. He's been cleaned, he's been washed, and all the gaps have been filled. So there are all the components. We've got the torso, I've got 3 head variations. I've yet to choose which head I'm going to put on. The arms are fully posable, the legs are fully posable, which is what I love about all the Tau Empire kits. And so there he is. Alright, and so the kind of pose I'm going for is this Jason Statham inspired flying sidekick, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So in order to achieve that kind of action pose where he's kind of jumping off the ground, what you want to do with these 2 parts is whenever you join the toe part to the shin, you want to make sure that the toe is always pointed away from the ground like that. So if the ground is parallel to those lines, the toe would always be kind of pointing away from it. That's kind of like the ball of the foot kind of pushing off against the ground. So the way I've done this in the past is I've got a little piece of terrain, and then I've kind of put that on the base so that makes that angle for me. And then all I need to do is mount the toe to that base. So that also acts as a point of contact between the base and the model if I wanted to have it on 1 foot. And then I get this kind of great angle, like so. And so that angle gives a better sense of the movement, like it's jumping away, it's pushing away from the ground. So something like that. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to get to constructing. Alright, so there we have it. So there he is, primed and assembled and primed. So I didn't quite get the Jason Statham flying kick that I wanted. So instead I managed to get the kind of landing and firing his guns as he was landing, kind of that pose. And so the cool thing is that you can kind of put the guns at a sideways pose and get the kind of these 2 kind of very wide angled with the guns. And of course the head's there. The only thing I decided to sub-assemble, so because there's a couple of details inside that I can paint before I stick the head on. So yeah, it was a bit of a little bit fiddly putting him together. I had like a super glue with a slow bond time, so that all that can work in your favor or against your favor depending on how you see it. But in the end, because it would take about 5 minutes of just holding it there before it finally set in place. But otherwise, that's how it is. I'm yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. A little bit crooked. I would have liked to have it a bit straighter, but otherwise not a bad result. Okay, onto the painting then. Okay, so paint scheme wise, it's nothing special. It's literally exactly the same as the Warhammer TV's Ghost Kill tutorial. Except in painting so much white, I've come up with a couple of steps. So basically, I do all of my base coats first. In order to kind of eliminate steps, what I now do is I shade directly into after the undercoat. So that white there is the Corex white undercoat that I've applied. And so what I'm going to do is actually just shade the Corex white first, because I know I'm going to be doing multiple layers of Ulthuan Grey to build up that color. And I've done tests, and in the end, shading the Corex white and the Ulthuan Grey is exactly the same, or very close to the same. If I showed you two models, you wouldn't be able to tell. So what I do now is I actually do just shade directly into the recess, and then because I'll be cleaning up the model anyway. So like you can see there in the neck piece, I've got lots to clean up there. So I might as well do shading now, just to save time. All right, so yeah, so I'll just shade this little backpack. So the trick is to definitely be as neat as possible, but it doesn't matter because you are going to clean this up again when you layer in the Ulthuan Grey. So if I do get bits over there, I'll just wipe that off. Yeah, so basically, because I know that the shading is going to be quite messy, I might as well not put that first layer of Ulthuan Grey over, because I know I'm going to be cleaned up anyway. So yeah, so it's really messy there. Once that dries, alright, I'm going to go ahead and shade the whole thing, and I'll show you how kind of messy it is, but we'll build it up and clean it up from there. Okay, so you can see most of the shading is done, and you can see just how messy it is. But not to worry, about 2, 3, 4 thin coats of Ulthuan Grey will cover it all up. Yeah, it's quite messy. So in order to save you the trouble, you just shade it now. Okay, so there we go. We've done all the shading, and I've layered all the base coats, the white, the grey, the black, the gold, and I started to do some of the red because I had a game on the weekend. And there it is. I've cleaned up all the shading, and you can see just how nice and clean it is now. So yeah, that's kind of the longest. That's the part that takes a lot of the time when painting these light colors, but it definitely really makes it effective. So yeah, so that's what we've got, and we're just gonna finish the model up now with the highlights, and then we'll come back to it. And so there you can see I've had to redo the base because as I was painting it, it was really wobbly. And so now what I've got there is I do have a pin that's poking through, that's poking up there, which is stabilizing the model, making it much more stable. And yeah, so there it is. So we're just going to finish here the highlights and do the basing, and we'll be done. Okay, so there he is, the completed model. I've done all the highlights, I've done all the lenses. The only thing I haven't done is the plasma glow because I don't really know quite how yet. But everything so far that I've done is kind of this far along. So there's always more I can add on. But there he is. So I'm really happy with how it came out now, actually. I like that he's got this kind of angle where he's coming down and landing that way. It actually really helps add heaps to the dynamism of the model. And so there's the back side. This is kind of simple, but at the front is where all the details and all the different colors came out. So I've got a couple of the markings on the wing, all done by freehand, a little bit on the gun, and the lenses as well. See if those can come to focus. Yeah. And that's it. Alright, so thanks everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and bye-bye.